Hi, Amy. What we have here is our famous English chocolate toffee cake. And I baked it already to speed it up, and we're going to cut it in half. Helps to have a really long knife. And this cake is a very moist cake. It's almost like a brownie. And what we're going to fill it with is chocolate ganache. And ganache is chocolate and heavy cream. And you have to let it get just to the right temperature, because if it's too warm, it won't be thick like this, and it'll just pour over it. So we're going to put a layer of ganache there. And then I've got some more chilled ganache in a piping bag. And this little table here is called a turntable. A lot of pastry chefs use that. It's a nice little toy to have. Makes life easy. Put a ring around there. That way the caramel, this is homemade caramel sauce, and the English toffee will stay in the cake, and it'll actually float into the cake as it sits there. Do another layer. And I usually have to work this fast too, because my brother's always watching me, and he makes me work fast to keep our labor costs low. Yep, big brother. And one of the reasons why we like this cake so much is the frosting's not real sweet, because a lot of different frostings have butter and a lot of sugar to them, or some sort of fat. Well, this one, with just the chocolate and cream, it's not quite so sweet as your average frosting. Okay, so here we have our last layer. And whenever you frost a cake, you always want to frost the sides first. And if this ganache ever got too cold for you and firmed up, you can melt it down again, just real slightly. And I like to have a lot of ganache on there, especially on the ends, because then we're going to take a cake score and we're going to decorate it. It'll have a cool design on the side, is where I'm getting at. This ganache is perfect temperature. Maybe because I've done this before. Or maybe I'm really good under pressure. This is one of our favorite chocolate desserts. We have about 3 of them. But we were looking for a couple years. We had another one that was fairly good. But then I saw the recipe on this one. And another reason why I really like this recipe is we're going to finish it with some black Hawaiian sea salt in a couple minutes. And that sea salt, what that does is that takes away from the sweetness just a touch. And the black Hawaiian sea salt's a real fine, expensive sea salt. It's very delicious. And it complements the chocolate really well. So now I have to portion it out. Here's where we make all of our money, when we portion them out right. We do pretty big pieces here. We go 12 slices per cake. And then I'm going to pipe some rosettes on that. And you can see how handy this turntable comes in. It's really nice to have when you do cakes. We're going to pipe some rosettes on the top. And then we want to let this cake actually firm up a little bit, you know, for 20 minutes or so. And this cake will hold in the refrigerator. Keep it covered with some plastic wrap lightly. It'll hold for 5 or 6 days. And what I always do before I serve it is I'll cut it. But if you can let it sit out about 15, 20 minutes to room temperature, that ganache is just going to come and become a little bit softer, and it won't be quite as firm.